Welcome back to the channel, folks. Okay, so elephant in the room. Somehow I managed to mess up my complexion today, but face makeup is not the point of this video. I looked really pale for some reason, and then I tried to add a little bit of like bronzer a little too late, and I don't know, I just look completely insane. But the point of today's video is actually the eyeshadow. So that's what we're focusing on. This is going to be a 1 week, 1 palette video, so I'm going to be doing 7 different looks with 1 palette over the course of a week. And this lovely boy is the palette that I'm going to be using. I've been wanting to use this since I bought it in the sale in November. This is the Cloud Forest palette, the, what is it, Monteverde? Yeah. Bosque Nuboso de Monteverde. Or something like that. This is from Nomad Cosmetics. This is not a new palette or anything. It came out last year, but it's just such fun, like summer vibes. I just felt like now was a good time to do my 7 looks 1 palette. So yeah, finally using this bad boy. Got it all the way back in November and I'm finally dipping into it. Giving you all the fun summer vibes. At the end of the video, I will give you sort of my, I guess, review of the palette. Stick around for that. I look disgusting. I'm like full-on zombie status. I don't know what I did wrong, but I messed up hardcore. Ugh. Ugh. But anyway, don't look at that. Look at the palette. If you're new here, I don't like show you the process of applying the makeup when I do these videos because I feel like that's just a waste of time. If you want to watch somebody blend some shadows, I have other videos on this channel where I do that. I have tons of videos on the channel where I do that. So I'm just going to tell you what I did, give you some inspo. God, I wish that I didn't look so cruddy because I loved this eye look when I put it on. And then I was like, okay, let me just finish the rest of my makeup. And then by the end I was like, can I even film this? I was this close to just being like, no, I can't film. I'll do this another time. Okay, anyway, on my eyes, I am wearing, so I did the outer corner with this shade, this deep shade called Glass Wings, and it applied so beautifully, so nice. Honestly, I just like put that down and I was like, that could be a look, that's beautiful. It went on so well and it like blended out really beautifully. And then I took Green Vine Snake and I kind of put that up in the crease and kind of blended that out a little bit. I tried not to take it too high. I mean, as you can see, this one, though, I will say it kind of took a little bit more effort to build up, which is fine, like whatever. Maybe that's kind of better. I was kind of able to like softly blend things out. But just a side note, I did need to build that up a lot more. Then, so I obviously wanted to use this beautiful, I don't know if it's a multi-chrome or a duochrome. I feel like I've heard people say that it's a multi-chrome. It's called Hanging Bridges, and it is so lovely. Oh, I feel like I need to... Is it focusing? Can you see? Is it better if it doesn't focus so you can see the sparkle more? Look at that. Look how beautiful. Anyway, so I knew I wanted to use that shadow. So I kind of looked at the reflex in it and I was like, what will go well with that? So I ended up using this one here, Passiflora. Passiflora, I don't know what that is. So I ended up using that shade on the inner part of the lid. I kind of did the same thing on the bottom as the top where I took Glass Wings on the very outer part. And I took Passiflora on the inner part. And then I took Hanging Bridges, put it all over the center just to kind of merge those colors together. And I took it a little bit more out than in because if I brought it in, that green kind of base would overtake this shade a little bit too much. So I didn't want to do that. So I just kind of kept it more on the outer part. So it's a little more matte, you know, on the inner part. But like, whatever, it is what it is. But the shift in there just kind of brings those shades together really beautifully. I also put just a little bit of that shade down here as well between the 2 colors. And then I also took it on my inner corner. I'm not 100% sure that's the best color for the inner corner for this look, but I just wanted to use it more. So there's that. All right, so that is look one. Sorry about my face makeup. Let's move on to look number two. Okay, look number two. Guess who's in a rush? As usual, we're actually just kind of rushing out the door to celebrate my nephew's 16th birthday. We're going to dinner. So let me just very quickly tell you what I did. No face makeup this time, barefaced, and I kind of wanted the look to work with that whole aesthetic. So I wanted to keep it a little bit grungy, a little bit, earthy and natural. So I went in with Two-Toed Sloth, which is like this brown. It's actually kind of green, but it's like a brown with a little bit of a khaki green undertone to it. It's really nice. And that was the only matte that I used. I just kind of blended it through my crease a little bit. And that was it for the mattes. Then I went in with Cloud Canopy, which is like this dark green here, all over like the center of the lid. And then super simple, I finished up with Magical Mist here, which is a very light, sheer, kind of cool toned green on the inner part of the lid. I didn't do anything underneath. I didn't do anything on the inner corner. And that's it. It's just a super simple, wearable little green look. So yeah, that's day two. Simple, easy. Let's move on to day three. Okay, so this is look number three. This is an all matte look, and so no shimmers and no greens. I wanted to just use all of the other fun colors in the palette. So this is it's like a sunset look, but it's a very like late sunset look. This is like when the sun is just barely coming up over the horizon. Like that's the kind of look that I wanted to do. So there's a lot of steps to what I did for this one. I started with this purple shade called Violet Saberwing. Violet Saberwing. And I took that out on the outer corner of my eye. It ended up kind of getting covered up a lot though. I used Blue Morpho kind of through the crease out there, and that one was a little bit hard to make smooth. I don't necessarily want to call it patchy. It probably was because my primer was a little bit sticky still, so it was kind of staying in place. I ended up blending it out with this lighter blue called Resplendent Quetzal. Oh gosh. But anyway, I blended it out with that. I think that's quite beautiful. And then, oh man, what did I do next? Okay, so I had the purple down, and then I think I took Orchid, this pinky shade here. I put it, there was just a gradient. So I went into Orchid, and then I did bromeliad. I don't know what that means, but I took that in here, and look at the way that these shades just like blended into one another. Beautiful. The way that they blended was beautiful. And then so I kind of skipped this one on the gradient on the lid, but I did end up putting it in the crease here. I kind of skipped right to Jaguar on the inner part of the lid, and then on the inner corner the yellow shade Toucan, as you can see. And then on the lower lash line I started with Violet Saberwing. Kind of tried to give it its moment back. It kind of got covered up again, but then I went over it, I think I skipped Blue Morpho and just used a little bit of Resplendent Quetzal, however you say that. Just kind of blended over that. And then, oh gosh, what did I even do next? I think I went into Orchid next down there, and I was just slowly going across and blending things out. And then I used Passiflora, which is the one that I used in my crease up here, kind of instead of going into the more intense orange, and I just kind of took that there. So I don't know, I think it's beautiful. I think it's super kind of unexpected. Like, yeah, looking at this, you can look at the palette and be like, yeah, I can see how you got that, but this might not be the first thing that you think of, right? Like, there's no greens, it's all mattes. It's actually pretty cool toned as well. So I don't know, I think this one's pretty cool. I hope that you like it. By the way, the face makeup looks better today. I don't know. I think I put too much of my white setting powder from e.l.f. the other day, and it just like I just too concentrated. I had used it recently and it looked fine, but I think I just put too much when I did the first look. I think that's what that was. So anyway, there's that. This is the day 3 look. Let's move on to day 4. Okay, folks, here we are on day, what is it now, 4, and I am bringing you a look that you probably would not have expected from this palette. This definitely feels like a very kind of green palette, right? But you can actually do a monochromatic blue look using this palette. So super simple, super easy. I only used 3 shades. I went in with Blue Morpho, which is the kind of deeper blue. I went in on the outer corner and kind of blended it out through the crease. And then I went in with Resplendent Quetzal, I don't know how to pronounce that. I took that on the inner part of the eye and up through the crease a little bit, kind of blended it through the middle of the crease there. And then with my finger, I took River Trail, and I put that all over the center of the eye and kind of patted it out, you know, spread it out over the eye. And then I also took it on my inner corner for a little inner corner highlight. And then on the bottom, I just took some of the darker one, Blue Morpho, just out here on the very edge. And then I ran Resplendent Quetzal, whatever, the rest of the way through. So for me personally, I feel like I have to do a little bit of like liner, and I also did a little bit of mascara because trying to make blues work with my I think warm undertone to my skin, you know, I can easily look dead with cool tones, so I have to make it look very intentional when I use blues and even like grays and stuff. So I couldn't just throw on a bunch of blues and call it a day. I felt like I had to just add these little extra bits. I have a little bit of blue in my waterline. But yeah, that is the day 4 look. What do you think? Did you ever think that I would do a completely monochromatic blue look using this palette? The only shimmer in here that isn't a green shimmer is this blue shade. So I feel like you can do an easy monochromatic green look, which I've done, and I'll probably do it again. I did like a more neutral one. I'll probably end up doing a more bright one in one of these looks. I'm not sure if that's going to be like tomorrow or the next day or whatever. You can also do a monochromatic blue look, because there is that blue shimmer. You could do probably a monochromatic like pinky purple look. Yeah, you could do like a pinky purple look. You could do like an orangey look. But you just would kind of have to skip the shimmers, you know? But yeah, so that's today's look. Hope that you like it. Let's move on to day 5. Okay, so this is look number 5. Are we on 5? Yeah, I think this is 5. So this is not the first look that I attempted to do today. I actually did a non-monochromatic look earlier that was beautiful, but I ended up messing it up when I was trying to add liner. So here I am. When I did the look earlier, I had a full face of makeup. I had foundation, concealer, blush, highlighter, you name it, lips, everything. Now, nothing. I have nothing. But you know what? It works. It looks beautiful. I think that green looks really good with like my skin tone, my eye color. I'm not even wearing anything on my lips. Bare lips, you guys. Maybe I'll try to recreate the look that I did earlier today tomorrow. I have to see how I feel tomorrow, what I'm feeling inspired to do. But I was really, really mad that the look didn't turn out because it was actually quite beautiful. Anyway, let me just show you what I did for this lovely monochromatic look. I actually took Green Spiny Lizard, which I think was the only matte that I hadn't used. It was the only matte that I hadn't used. The 2 shimmers that I used in this look, I also, as far as I can remember, had not used in a look. So in the first all monochromatic green look that I did, I kept it very kind of grungy and dark and neutral. This is much more colorful. So I went in with green spiny lizard, which is on the outer corner, very kind of a grassy green. Would you call that a grassy green or like a leafy green? And then I very gently took, what is it, green vine snake? Yeah, green vine snake, just in the inner part of my crease, just a little tiny bit. And then I took the last two shimmers that I had not used yet, this one down here called Green Mountain. And then I did Wildlife Wonderland. Green Mountain I kept on the outer part of the eye to keep the depth, and then the rest I just did the Wildlife Wonderland. I didn't do anything on the inner corner or the lower lash line because when I don't wear face makeup, I feel like it's best to just keep it on the lid and in the crease a little bit. But super simple, but like, you know, bright and fun and beautiful all at the same time. Didn't have to go too crazy, but I think it works. Okay, sorry that it's maybe not a big production, but I don't think it always has to be a big production. We'll see what I do tomorrow. Maybe I'll go back and recreate the look that I tried to do earlier today, minus the liner. Oh, God. But whatever, you'll see that in just a second. Let's move on to, what is it going to be, day 6? Let's move on to day 6. Okay, so here is the day 6 look. I kind of started this look the same way that I started the look that I did yesterday, the one that I didn't film because it got messed up, but I couldn't actually do that same thing because I realized after I filmed yesterday that I literally did the same lid last night when I did the day 5 look that I was going to do, that I did earlier in the day. And so when I was like, oh, maybe we'll just try to recreate it tomorrow, I remembered afterwards that would be dumb because it would be the same lid situation. The only thing that's really the same about this look is I started with an orange crease and there's some yellow in this look. The original concept for what I did yesterday was an orange crease, that green lid like I did last night, a little bit of green underneath and a little bit of yellow. Today though, instead I did the orange crease. Let me actually grab the palette and just tell you the shades. So I started with Jaguar and I did the orange crease, super beautiful, right? But then I took Two-Toed Sloth, which is kind of a brown, but it's also very green. It's very green brown. I took that just out here, just above the lash line out here, and just like into the crease. You could probably see it's like not super well blended, but my eyes are incredibly hooded, so you barely even see it unless I'm like, so it just creates that depth there. So it doesn't really have to be super well blended. It's just like, you know, you could totally see, but when am I ever going to be? So it works, and I just took that out there, and then I went over it some more with the orange, again, Jaguar. But then on the outer part of my lid, I used Passiflora, which I've used, 3 times now? I really like that shade. It's like a very warm, somewhat orangey coral. It's a coral. We'll call it a coral. Really beautiful color. Took that on the outer part of the lid, and then I took the yellow called Toucan, that one there, and I put that on the inner part of the lid and a little bit in the inner corner. I didn't go too crazy on the inner corner. I didn't want it to be super intense, and I wanted this to feel soft, so I didn't actually end up taking anything underneath. By the way, can you tell that I'm wearing face makeup? Because I do have full face makeup on. I have an orange blush, a green highlighter, I have a lippy on. I have that whole situation going on, so I'm not barefaced today, but it's very, the face makeup is pretty neutral, not super in your face. Ooh, looks like I could have blended that a little better. What's up with that? So I was starting to really feel the lack of a presence of a shimmer that wasn't green. I mean, the only non-green shimmer in this whole palette is the blue. This one, River Trail. And so for all of these other colors, I was feeling like there's no proper shimmer to pair with them. But I was thinking maybe I would tap like a green and it would kind of go with the yellow. But then I remembered that this one here, what is this one again? Hanging Bridges, has that shift. And look at that pink shift there. So I just took that with my finger and tapped it on the center lid. And because of those base colors, you really notice that more pinky tone rather than the more green. It just kind of like brings that out. So I think that it works. Do you think it works? I didn't end up using any mascara or liner. I felt like this was soft enough that I didn't need it, thank God. Oh, I didn't take anything underneath except just a little bit of the orange on the lower outer corner there. I look psycho. The way that I was just like, but yeah, so that's that look, and it all kind of originated from my idea yesterday when I was like, oh, I want to do like the classic makeup influencer look and start with a warm neutral in the crease. And then I was like, well, this orange is the closest thing that I have to a warm neutral in this palette, right? So that was where that started. I wish that I could have filmed the version of the look that was the orange crease and the green with a little bit of yellow accent, but I already did essentially the exact same lid last night, so I was like, I need to do something different. Tomorrow I have an idea for what I want to do. It's going to be completely different. So I don't know, hopefully so far you're surprised by every look that I'm doing and getting inspired if you have this palette to use it, or if you don't have it, to dupe it. Let's move on to the 7th and final look. Okay, folks, so day 7, this is the final look with the palette. Surprise, surprise. This might be a little bit predictable for me, but not necessarily predictable for this palette. Like, would you have thought that I would do a cotton candy look with this palette? You might look at the color story and be like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. You could totally do that, but it's not, that's not gonna be like your first instinct looking at this palette. I wanted to do some things that might not be as predictable with this palette. I put a little bit too much mascara on that one eyelash. I put mascara on for this look because it is rather dramatic, but I didn't want to do liner because I'm like paranoid now. Like, I'm afraid that I'm gonna mess up the whole damn look like I did the other day with the look that I was trying to do. I'm not 100% happy with the way that I winged this out, but like, whatever, it is what it is. I'm like a fun cotton candy clowny type character today. Let's talk about what I used. I went in with Blue Morpho on the outer corner, just like on the outer part of the lid, blended it up into the crease a little bit, and then I went over the edges with Resplendent Quetzal. I still don't know what the name of this shade is. I didn't look it up, I don't know. But I just kind of blended that out, and then I ended up winging it out, and I couldn't get them even, so they ended up being kind of long, as you do, but at least it's not liner. Like, that's even worse. Liquid liner all the way out there would be an absolute horror show. It's not perfect out here, but I didn't want to like go too crazy trying to make it perfect. And then in the center of my lid, I actually took Orchid. You can kind of see it's, you know, comes out here. It blended with that blue and made like a gorgeous purple. I don't know how visible it is with the shimmer on top of it, but the way that they blended was so freaking beautiful. And then in the very inner part of the lid and up through the crease a little bit, I took bromeliad, I don't know how to pronounce these things, but this beautiful warmer pinky shade here. And so that's the mattes. I also took all of those shades underneath going across in the same order with the darkest blue, then the lighter blue, then the more cool pink and then the warmer pink. And then on my lid and inner corner, I took this beautiful River Trail shade, which is a blue. It's a little bit duochrome, actually. I was looking in the mirror the other day when I had it on and I realized that it has a subtle duochrome. Actually, I feel like with the pink under it, you can see the duochrome a little bit more, but it shifts a little bit like purpley. Really beautiful, really fun. So yeah, I just wanted to do something that didn't include any of the greens and was a little bit more, you know, unpredictable. I look hella pale in this lighting. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, here's me looking like an absolute clown as usual. So yeah, what do you think of this palette? Do you love it? I freaking love it. Their new, Nomad's new palette was actually revealed today when I'm filming, Saturday. And so this is a super colorful palette, right? Their new one is super neutral and it has very like earthy greens in it. I'm not gonna pick that one up. I didn't pick up their last one either, the Royal Europe one with the cool multi-chromes. It was beautiful, it was jewel toned, beautiful multi-chromes, but I just didn't need it at the time. I still don't really feel like I need it now. Maybe one day I'll get it, but then again, maybe not. But I do love this brand. I love every palette that I've tried from them. This one is no exception. This is such a gorgeous palette. And I hope that it gives you the fun summer vibes. Does this give you fun summer vibes, the look that I have on right now? Maybe if I didn't go so dramatic with the wing, it would be less like psycho clown and more like just fun summer vibes. But hopefully watching this video inspired you, got you in the mood to do more fun summery looks. And my final thoughts on this palette are the mattes are so gorgeous. This one, the dark blue, a little bit on the patchy side, but that's because it's a dark blue. You have to really take care with blues of any kind, but especially the deeper blues. I don't remember the purple giving me much issue, but I think when I used the purple, I was blending it into other colors. Is that accurate? I don't know. It didn't really, I didn't notice any issues with the purple like I did with the deep blue. But other than the deep blue, everything blends so beautifully. Everything blends together so beautifully. Like the deep blue goes into the other colors so beautifully. And just in general, I think that the way that the mattes perform together is so gorgeous. The shimmers, beautiful. I mean, look at how shimmery and gorgeous that is. I love the shimmers. I mean, this brand has such gorgeous shimmers. How could you not love them? The only complaint that I really have is with the shimmers, there's really only green and this one blue. You do have this shade which shifts in such a way that it goes nicely with all of these warmer, bright, colorful shades, but it still has that green in there, that like green kind of base going on. Even I used this yesterday, right? I like tapped it over my look. You could still see some of that green, which was a little odd because the rest of the look was yellow and orange. So having a little bit of a green shift was a little awkward for the look. It worked just fine because it wasn't super intense, but it was still a little weird. But other than that, I think that this is super duper fun. Missing some colorful shimmers, but you know what? Reach into the rest of your palettes for the colorful shimmers if you really need to, or just do an all matte look like I did when I did that like sunset look. Other than that, I think it's great. I think it's beautiful, stunning, amazing. Would recommend. But yeah. But yeah, I guess that's really all that I have to say. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that you felt inspired. I hope that you liked the looks. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. If you're new here, I post every Wednesday and every Sunday, so be sure to subscribe so you can get more of this. And I will be seeing you guys again on probably Wednesday, again, unless I suddenly decide to post a bonus video. You never know. But until then, I hope that you have a great week. Peace.